Hey, badass business owners, welcome back to the show. Today, I want to talk to those of you that seem to be stuck in a rut. You can't seem to grow the business. You can't seem to grow your profits. It's just you're kind of there. You're existing, and it doesn't matter how hard you try, how many hours you work, no matter what it is you seem to be doing, you just seem to be repeating the same thing that you had before. And I get a lot of folks that are in this situation that reach out to me because they are stuck, that's when they seek out some advice, some help. And I want to go over some of the most common things that I see that are causing you to be stuck in your business. Because honestly, it usually comes down to one of four things. For each of you, it's going to be a little bit different, but I find that for most people, they're usually struggling in all four areas, or they've got one of them they're doing okay, but they can't seem to figure out why that one thing isn't making a difference. And the reality is that you really need to be doing well in all four parts of this in order to keep the business growing. So what are these four magical little things? Well, believe it or not, they're not that magical. And we talk about them all of the time, but let's kind of put them in a little different context, because if you are kind of stuck in your business and the business isn't growing, you really need to look at these four areas, and they are as follows. First and foremost, you cannot grow your business if you do not have the capacity to grow your business. And what do I mean by that? Is a lot of times we grow our business because we just work more hours. Well, when you're already working tons of hours, there's just no more hours to go. And you've heard me talk about processes. Yes, I know it sounds boring, but your processes and the systems that you have in your business have to be functioning really well in order for you to grow the business, because you can't just create more time out of thin air. What you have to do is you have to work on the inefficiencies within your business. So by working on the processes, by making sure that your scheduling is the best that it can be, that your ordering is the best that it can be, that the way you get jobs done is the most efficient way that you can get jobs done, that you're not driving all over town, that you've said, okay, I'm going to work on this area during these days, this area during those days. Whatever the case may be, you need to have processes that are working. And those processes include, if you have employees, it includes the processes of how you hire people, how you onboard them, and how you train them in their long-term training. Every little process in your business has to be evaluated and continuously worked on. You need to be able to have things in place that say, this is how it's done, and this is the way that it should be done. Now, if you're a one-person operation, you need to work on those processes still, and you need to plan for the day that you may need employees. So you might as well start writing that stuff down, because yes, you're going to train them, but if the business is growing, you're going to find that time is still not on your side. So the more efficient you can make the processes in your business clear. When you go to McDonald's or you go to almost any fast food or quick service restaurant, even on my ice cream shop when I had it, there are books and manuals that show people exactly how to make things. And you're going to show them, but at some point they need to have the tools and resources to know exactly what it should look like. Because if they're not making things correctly, if they're not doing things correctly, if they're not doing the tasks or whatever it is you install or do, and you're not doing them correctly, it's going to cost you time and money, and therefore you're not going to be able to grow those profits like you want to try to grow. So it's important that you slow down at times and you start documenting and putting things in place that need to do. Which will lead me to the second one, which is people. So because they're interlinked a lot, I'm just going to jump and do people really quick. Some of you don't have people, and you're looking at the fact that in order for you to grow, you're probably going to need to bring some people on, in which case you're going to fall into this category. And for those of you that have people, I find so many inefficiencies, and what's costing you from growing has to do with your people. And it's for several reasons. For some of you, it's because you cannot keep people to save your life. The minute you hire them, you get them trained, and then they leave and they quit. But if you really sit back and you ask yourself, why is it that they are quitting? A lot of times people are quitting because you made a bad hire in the first place. Your gut told you not to hire them, but you were desperate and you hired them. Another reason that they tend to quit is they don't have the tools and resources to do the job. They get frustrated and they up and left. I'm going to tell you right now, when someone quits and tells you they're leaving, There's a huge chunk of them that will lie to you as to why they are quitting. They're just going to give you another reason. So don't fall for just the reason. Ask the why, saying, hey, what can we have done better? What can we have done differently? Especially if there's somebody that you really liked and enjoyed, because they're going to want to not let you down. They're going to want to not have a bad reference from you. So they're not going to always tell you the truth. And in some cases, they're going to tell you, man, you threw me to the wolves. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Or, you know what, you're so inconsistent. One day you want this and the next day you want that, because you're bouncing all over the place, or you don't have those processes in place in order to make it good for that employee. So there's a lot of different reasons why employees leave. A lot of times it's not for the reason that the business owner thinks it is. Most people leave because they don't feel valued, they don't feel like they've been trained to do the job properly, and it is not pay. A lot of times they'll go, I found another job where I can make more money. That's not the real reason they left. They may not have felt they had a way to make more money at your business, in which case it is how it's being communicated, what they need to do in order for them to grow. But I can't tell you how many small business owners really think it's a pay reason as to why people are leaving. And it honestly, once we peel it all back, it really has nothing to do with pay at all. It has to do with the job experience. Some of you guys, you might have a job that's really difficult to do, and we kind of sugarcoat it in order to hire somebody, and then the reality hits them. You need to paint the worst case picture when you're hiring somebody, so that way everything else seems like gravy. It's like, oh man, this isn't as hard as they said it's going to be. But for some people, when you're working outside in the freezing cold or in the hot heat, people aren't ready for that, and you're going to lose people. And if you happen to have a business that has high turnover, you need to prepare for that, because there are certain professions that have high turnover. For example, landscapers, cleaners. Anytime that somebody has to do a lot of physical labor, if you're hiring the wrong people, you're going to have a lot of turnover. But yet I have met landscapers and cleaners, just to use them as the examples, that have had their same employees for a year or 2 years or longer. It's not that every single time it's going to be a high turnover. It's about hiring the right people and taking care of them and making sure that you have the right processes in place for them to be able to follow, so they know exactly what they need to do. And there's a lot that I could go on and on when it comes to the employees, because so many people don't have job descriptions out there. There's sometimes where I run into where the employee is not held accountable to the way that they should be. And you hold on to bad employees way longer than you needed to. And then in an frustration moment, you go ahead and fire them and let them go, when the reality is, A, they should have been fired a long time ago, or B, if you would have sat down and trained them properly on what they needed to do, they probably would have ended up being a much better employee than what it is that you got. One of the reasons why small businesses seem to stand still are because of the people part of their business. So far, we know we got to work on our processes, our systems, and we also need to work on our people. And by the way, a lot of processes have to do with our people. All right, a third reason, and you know this one was going to come up, another reason why small businesses just don't seem to grow and seem to get stuck is the business owner really never learns their business numbers the way they need to do it. They might be able to answer a few questions, or they're what I call accidentally profitable. They make decent money, and they think they already know everything they need to know about their numbers because, hey, why should I have to dive into them when I've got a good grasp of them? The reality is they're probably leaving money on the table, and they're leaving sales opportunities on the table, because by not looking at your numbers, you don't start to look for trends in your business. Yeah, you might know that every spring you're going to be busy, but did you happen to know what specific week it tends to take off, or at least the 2-week window? You might have a good gut and you might be accidentally doing it, but by understanding those business numbers, you can really dive in and find out where are the holes that are going to lead you to more profit and to more sales. I'm always amazed at how many small business owners that I run into that are kind of, I would say, arrogant about their numbers because they don't feel they need to. They don't feel like they need to dive into anything. I know a business owner who's doing really good. I mean, they've got a very successful business, but they couldn't tell you what was going on in their numbers to save their life. And I just know that they're leaving money on the table, but trying to get them to understand that and to hear about that is really difficult to do. And what's interesting is this person will work their butt off and work crazy hours trying to earn more money, when the reality is they probably don't need to work many more hours than what they're already working. They just need to be able to dive into those business numbers and really see where they're leaving money on the table. Where are the opportunities? I watch people chase sales all of the time, but in the wrong way. Your business numbers hold the key to you finding that profit that is sitting there waiting for you to pick it up and for sales opportunities. Which leads me to the number 4 reason why most small businesses end up being stuck. And that is because they continue to chase the wrong customer. They've done very well getting to where they're at, and they feel like there's no need to really change the way that they've been advertising and getting word out about their business. And the reality is that they were able to build a really good business based off of the way that they did it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if they want to grow, they really need to understand and target the right people, and they need to make sure that they're focusing their energy and all of their resources that they're going to spend on marketing towards the people that have the best and highest chance and likelihood of using their business. There's only going to be so much that you're going to get through word of mouth. And for some people, word of mouth is going to give them plenty of business. But if they really want to take off and go even higher than what it is that they have today, they have to know to talk to that specific person who needs their specific services, their specific product. And that's where understanding your ideal client and what pains they have and talking to those pains is going to make a huge difference. So instead of doing your advertising, like let's just say that you do advertising in your local community where you just say, hey, I have a carpet cleaning business and you're going to get $60 off because of whatever. That's one thing. But the reason they're calling you as a carpet cleaner isn't because they just want their carpets cleaned. Because what happens is we say, okay, I want to get to every person who wants to have their carpets cleaned. So here's a great coupon. Here's something that I'm going to do that's going to help them come in for this business. The reality is they want those carpets cleaned for a reason. All right. There is a pain point. Maybe their family is coming over. Maybe something happened. Maybe they're going to sell their house. Talk to the specific pain point. It might be that you run something that says, are you going to sell your home? We would love to be able to clean those carpets. Nothing makes a home look better than when the carpets are clean and fresh for the sale. Target those people. Hook up with those realtors who have listings coming up. So instead of targeting the entire marketplace, you might say, hey, I'm going to target agents because those agents have people that are looking to have those homes cleaned. Or they might have buyers that are moving in that want to have them cleaned because the seller didn't do it. So there's all kinds of different things that are out there. Ultimately, when you are doing your marketing, you want to focus on those two things, your ideal client and what are the pain points that you solve. What is the reason that's going to make them pick up the phone and call you and use your services? That's how you want to make sure that your marketing is going. Don't just try to say, I want everybody and their mother to use my business. Of course you do. Everybody does. But that doesn't single you out. That doesn't help you stand out above all of your competition. Now, I know and understand that every single business is unique and different in its own way. But I will tell you that almost all businesses that are stuck are usually stuck because they either have broken processes or systems and they can't grow the business because they don't have the time and money and energy to do it. So they got to fix those processes, those systems. They're not taking care of their people, or they have a revolving door of people, or they need to hire people and they haven't done it yet. So people are another part of their issue. Number 3, they don't understand those business numbers. They're running around by the seat of their pants versus diving into the information that they have on their business. Their business numbers hold the key to telling them fabulous information that's going to help them create more profit and create more sales. And finally, when it comes to their marketing and how they're trying to grow their customers, they're failing to go after the ideal customer and talk to them specifically, talk to their heart by focusing on the pain points that they solve and making sure they do it. Yours could be any one of these 4. It could be a combination of the 4. It could be all 4 of them. And one does not outrank another. Well, that's not quite true because I'm going to always say you need to know and understand your business numbers because I think that holds a huge key to it. But I'm telling you, it's the people, the processes, the financial numbers, understanding them and knowing who that ideal customer is so that you can make sure that you solve the pains that they have and that they will recommend you to more people. Because once again, the more people you can bring into the business, the more they can recommend you. So just please take a step back if you feel stuck and give yourself a score. Score yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 or 1 to 5. How many stars would you give yourself? Whatever route that you want to go, but look at your processes, your systems, look at your people, look at your business numbers, and look at your marketing and how you're talking to people. How would you rate yourself? If you're finding out that you're going to give yourself a 3 across all 4 of them, then you know those are your opportunities. If you would say, hey, you know what? My marketing is on point. I really do talk to their pain points and all the thing. I'm going to give myself a 4 or a 5. That's fantastic. But then when you go, oh, wow, my numbers I'm okay at. I give myself a 3. My people, I've got some opportunity because, I've got a couple people that are weak links and I know I'm not doing it. I'm going to give myself a 2. And when I look at my processes, oh my gosh, I lose so much money because I'm having to constantly do stuff, and I'm going to give myself a 2. All right, fine. Start on those items right there. You've got 2 areas that are a 2. Dive into those particular areas and start working on it. I knew I threw out a lot of stuff today, but mainly it's about those 4 areas. Please rate yourself in those areas, dive in, and I think you're going to find that you're going to kind of unjam that logjam that you currently have in your business, and you'll start seeing some growth. So once again, processes, systems, people, know your business numbers, and target your ideal customer and solve their pain point. Hopefully you've gotten a nugget out of this, and even if it's just one little nugget, run with that one little nugget, that one aha moment, that one thought that you had, and I promise you, if you just run with that one thing that you took out of this, you are going to make a huge difference in your business, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now.